Have you ever felt overwhelmed by anxiety or stuck in a cycle of sadness? These emotions, so common these days, may seem unsurpassed. But what if I tell you that the answer to dealing with them is in a philosophy of over 2,000 years? Stoicism, a school of thought that has influenced great leaders and thinkers throughout history, offers practical tools to face these emotional challenges. Like Marco Aurelio, one of the most famous Stoics, said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We live in an increasingly accelerated world where pressure for results, constant comparison on social networks, and uncertainty about the future feed anxiety and sadness. Many of us feel lost, not knowing how to deal with these emotions that sometimes seem to dominate us. The good news is that we don't have to face it alone. Stoicism, a philosophy that combines ancient wisdom with modern applications, can be the missing guide to find balance and inner peace. In this video, we will explore 10 Stoic strategies you can apply in your daily life to overcome anxiety and sadness. These techniques are not just theoretical. They were tested and proven by philosophers such as Seneca, Epicteto, and Marco Aurelio, and remain relevant to this day. Each strategy will be explained clearly and practically, with examples you can start using immediately. At the end of this video, you will have a powerful set of tools to better deal with negative emotions, develop emotional resilience, and find a more balanced perspective on adversity. The goal is that you leave here not only understand Stoicism, but feeling empowered to put it into practice and transform your life. Strategy 1. Dichotomy of control. Control dichotomy. Now that we understand how Stoicism can be a powerful ally in the fight against anxiety and sadness, let's dive into the first strategy, the dichotomy of control. This is one of the most fundamental ideas of Stoicism, and by mastering it, you will already take a big step towards inner peace. The dichotomy of control is simple, but deeply transformative. It teaches us to separate everything in life into two categories: what is under our control and what is not. According to Epicteto, one of the great Stoic masters, some things are under our control while others are not. The secret to serenity is to focus our energy only on what we can influence and accept what is beyond our reach. Imagine that you are at work and receive a hard criticism from a colleague. The first reaction may be of frustration or even anger, but by applying the dichotomy of control, you realize that you cannot control what the other thinks or says. What is under your control is how you react to this criticism. You can reflect on feedback, learn from it, or simply decide not to take it to the personal side. In doing so, you free an unnecessary emotional charge and keep the focus on what really matters. This strategy dramatically reduces stress and anxiety because you fail to waste energy trying to change what is out of your control. Instead, you focus on actions and thoughts that can actually improve your life. It's an inner freedom exercise that begins with a simple question: is this under my control? Strategy 2. Premeditatio maloru, negative visualization. Once you learn to focus on what is under your control, it's time to explore a strategy that may seem counter-intrusion at first glance, but incredibly effective: negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. While the dichotomy of control helps us deal with the present, this technique prepares us for the future in a powerful way. Negative visualization is the exercise of imagining the worst possible scenarios. It may seem scary, but the goal is not to create fear, but preparation. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "What can happen to anyone can happen to everyone." By viewing the challenges that may arise, you get emotionally strengthened and reduce the impact of the unexpected. Imagine that you have an important presentation at work. Instead of just waiting that everything goes well, you dedicate a few minutes to think about what could go wrong. Maybe the projector fails, or you forget about your speech. By viewing these scenarios, you gradually prepare yourself to deal with them. If the projector fails, you will already have a plan B. If you forget something, you will know how to improvise. This preparation reduces anxiety and increases your trust. Negative visualization not only decreases the fear of the unknown, but it also helps us value what we have. By imagining the loss of something important, such as a job or a relationship, we began to appreciate these aspects of our lives more. It is a practice that combines emotional resilience with gratitude, making us stronger and more conscious. Strategy 3. Love fati, love to destiny. After exploring how negative visualization can prepare us for challenges, it is time to talk about a strategy that transforms the way we look at these challenges. Love fati, or love to destiny. While the first helps us anticipate problems, it teaches us to hug them when they arise. Love fati is the practice of loving everything that happens to us, whether good or bad. Friedrich Nietzsche, influenced by Stoicism, summed up this idea well. Not just enduring what is needed, but to love it. For Stoics, such as Marco Aurelio and Epicteto, each event, however challenging, is an opportunity for growth and learning. Instead of resisting what we cannot change, we must accept it and find meaning in it. Imagine that you have lost an important flight because of an unforeseen traffic in traffic. Instead of being carried away by frustration and anger, you practice love fati. You accept that the unforeseen event has happened and decides to use extra time to read a book that was postponing or to reflect on your goals. In doing so, you turn a negative situation into an opportunity for something positive. This strategy helps us develop a resilient and positive mindset. Instead of being victims of circumstances, we become protagonists of our own history. Love fati teaches us to see value in everything, even in adversity, and to find peace in accepting that not everything is under our control. It is a practice that frees us from resistance and connects us with the fluidity of life. Strategy 4. Memento mori. Remember mortality. After learning to embrace fate with love. Fati, let's now explore a strategy that may seem dark at first glance, but which is deeply liberating. Mori, or remember mortality. While love fati teaches us to accept what happens, Memento mori reminds us of what really matters in life. Memento mori is the practice of reflecting on the inevitability of death. It may seem morbid, but for the Stoic, this reflection is a powerful tool to live with purpose and clarity. Marco Aurelio wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let this determine what you do, say, and think." The idea is not to paralyze us with the fear of death, but to use the conscience of the finitude of life as a motivator to live fully. Imagine that you are procrastinating an important project or postponing a difficult conversation with someone you love. When practicing Memento mori, you wonder, if I knew my time is limited, how would I act today? This simple question may be the push you need to prioritize what really matters, whether to complete that project or reconcile with someone. This strategy helps us focus, essentially, and set aside distractions and trivial concerns. Remembering that time is finite, we began to value the present more and act with intentionality. Memento mori is not about fear, but about clarity and motivation to live a life aligned with our deepest values. Strategy 5. Journaling, Stoic daily. After reflecting on the finitude of life with Memento mori, we will now explore a strategy that helps us process our experiences and emotions, the Stoic diary, or journaling. While Memento mori reminds us of the importance of time, the Stoic diary helps us use this time consciously and productively. The Stoic diary is a practice that involves writing daily reflections on their experiences, emotions, and thoughts. Marco Aurelio, one of the most famous Stoic, left an impressive legacy in his book Meditations, which was nothing more than a personal diary. In it, he reflected on his actions, values, and challenges, always seeking to improve as a person. Writing is a way of organizing the mind, processing emotions, and gaining clarity about what really matters. Imagine that you had a difficult day at work, full of frustrations and conflicts. When you get home, you take a notebook and write about what happened, how you felt, and what you could have done differently. Then you reflect on how these events align, or not, with their values and goals. This exercise not only helps to release negative emotions, but also offers valuable insights for the future. This strategy improves self-knowledge and emotional management. By putting your thoughts on paper, you gain emotional distance from problems and can see them more clearly. In addition, the Diario Stoic is a powerful tool to keep up with your personal progress and celebrate small victories along the way. Strategy 6. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. After exploring how the Stoic diary can help us process emotions and gain clarity, let's now talk about a practice that perfectly complements this reflection: gratitude. While the diary helps us deal with what didn't work out, gratitude reminds us of valuing what we already have and what is working. Practicing gratitude is one of the pillars of Stoicism and one of the most effective ways of cultivating contentment and inner peace. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Gratitude is not just the greatest of virtues, but the mother of all others." For Stoics, gratitude is not just a feeling, but a daily practice that helps us focus on positive, even in the midst of adversity. Imagine that you are going through a difficult phase at work or in a relationship. At the end of the day, you dedicate a few minutes to write down 3 things you are grateful. It can be simple, like a hot coffee in the morning, a compliment of a colleague, or a moment of connection with a loved one. By doing so, you redirect your attention to what is working in your life, rather than focusing only on problems. This strategy increases the feeling of happiness and reduces sadness because it helps us recognize the small blessings that often go unnoticed. Gratitude also strengthens our emotional resilience, allowing us to face challenges with a more positive and balanced mindset. Strategy 7. Negative visualization. Negative visualization. After exploring how gratitude can help us value what we have, let's now dive into a strategy that, at first glance, may seem contradictory, but which is incredibly powerful: negative visualization. While gratitude makes us appreciate the present, negative visualization prepares us for possible losses, strengthening our emotional resilience. Negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, is the practice of imagining the loss of things we value. It may seem dark, but the goal is not to create fear, but to help us appreciate more what we have and prepare us to face adversity. Seneca, one of the great Stoic, said, "Waiting the worst means you will never be caught by surprise." This practice teaches us not to take anything as guaranteed and find strength even in the most challenging situations. Imagine that you profoundly values your job. By practicing negative visualization, you dedicate a few minutes to reflect on what your life would be like if you lost this job. Instead of being carried away by panic, you use this reflection to prepare yourself emotionally and even plan alternatives, such as updating your curriculum or developing new skills. At the same time, you start to further value the work you have today. This strategy strengthens our gratitude and emotional resilience. By imagining the loss of what we value, we come to appreciate more what we have and prepare better for the challenges that may arise. It is a practice that combines emotional preparation with a deep sense of contentment. Strategy 8. Self-discipline. Self-discipline. After exploring how negative visualization can prepare us for challenges and strengthen our gratitude, let's now talk about a strategy that is essential to put all others into practice: self-discipline. While previous strategies help us deal with emotions and thoughts, self-discipline gives us the power to act according to our values, even when it is difficult. Self-discipline is one of the pillars of Stoicism. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic masters, taught that no big thing is created suddenly. And for Stoics, true freedom comes from self-control and the ability to resist impulses that move us away from our goals. Self-discipline is not about depriving itself, but about aligning yourself with what really matters. Imagine that you are trying to adopt healthier habits, such as exercising regularly or eating better. However, the temptation to skip training or eat something unhealthy is great. By practicing self-discipline, you remember your long-term goals and choose to act according to them, even if it is at the moment it is difficult. You are not depriving yourself of something good. You are choosing something better for yourself. This strategy increases our sense of control over life and our self-esteem. By acting according to our values, even when it is challenging, we build confidence in our ability to achieve our goals. Self-discipline makes us more productive, focused, and above all, aligned with what really matters to us. Strategy 9. Mindfulness, full attention. After exploring how self-discipline helps us act according to our values, let's now talk about a strategy that allows us to live every moment fully. Full attention, or mindfulness. While self-discipline guides us in actions, full attention connects us with the present where life really happens. Full attention is the practice of being completely present at the present time, without being carried out by worries about the past or the future. Marco Aurelio, in his Meditations, wrote, "Focus on what is before you, one task at a time." 4. Stoics, living in the present is essential to find peace and clarity, for it is the only moment we have some control over. Imagine you're at a work meeting, but your mind is rambling, worried about deadlines or a discussion you had in the morning. By practicing the full attention, you bring your attention back to what is happening at the moment, people's words, their expressions, their own breath. This not only improves your participation in the meeting, but also reduces anxiety and stress. This strategy reduces anxiety and increases the feeling of inner peace. When focusing on the present, we stop worrying about what has been or what is yet to come. Full attention helps us live with more intentionality, enjoying every moment and finding clarity, even in chaotic situations. Strategy 10. Virtue as the highest good, virtue as the greatest good. After exploring how careful attention helps us live in the present, we come to the last and deepest Stoic strategy: to live according to virtue. While other strategies help us deal with specific emotions and challenges, it connects us with the greatest purpose of life: living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. For Stoics, virtue is the greatest good and the only way to a truly happy life. Marco Aurelio, Seneca, and Epictetus agreed that virtue is not just an abstract concept, but a daily practice. It involves acting wisely in our decisions, courage to face challenges, justice in our relationships, and self-control over our desires and impulses. As Seneca said, virtue is nothing more than reason in harmony with nature. Imagine that you are facing a difficult decision at work, such as denouncing an unethical practice or remaining silent. By choosing to act with virtue, you prioritize justice and integrity, even if it means facing challenging consequences. This decision not only strengthens its character, but it also contributes to a fairer and ethical environment. This strategy gives us a deep sense of purpose and integrity. By living according to virtue, we become more aligned people with our values and most capable of facing the ups and downs of life with serenity. Virtue is the foundation that sustains all other Stoic practices, turning them into a significant and full life. After exploring the 10 Stoic strategies that can transform the way we deal with anxiety and sadness, we reached the end of this journey. But as the Stoics themselves remind us, the real work begins now, putting these ideas into practice. We have seen how control dichotomy helps us focus on what is under our power, while negative visualization prepares us for challenges. We have learned to embrace fate with love fati and to value the present with merimori. The Diario Stoic gave us a tool to reflect and grow, and gratitude showed us how to appreciate what we have. Self-discipline guided us to act according to our values, and the full attention connected us to the present moment. Finally, virtue reminded us that the greatest good is to live with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These strategies are not just philosophical concepts. These are practical tools that you can start using today. The change does not happen overnight, but each small step counts. As an Epictet said, no big thing is suddenly created. Start with a strategy. Try and see how it can transform your life. If this video was useful for you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Leave in the comments which strategy has resonated with you or how you plan to put it into practice. Together, we can build a community of people seeking to live with more purpose and serenity.